if you want to on the, you can just type in this. Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Judge Esparza. Today is Tuesday, July the 16th. We have some read hearings scheduled for this afternoon. We do not have a court reporter. If you are requesting a court reporter, your case will be reset for a later date. Not hearing any objections, we will proceed. The first case we're going to call this afternoon is C3201-24-E, State of Texas versus Matthew Brown. Speak English, correct, Mr. Brown?
Yes, Your Honor.
Go ahead and stand right there in the middle of the room.
Good morning, or good
Right
afternoon, Judge Juan Tijerina for Mr. Brown.
Good afternoon, Mr. Tijerina. This is your motion. Your client's present. You may proceed, sir.
Thank you very much, Judge. Judge, we're here on a DWI third or more. It's the bond is currently set at $10,000. I've talked to Mr. Brown's family, and they're unable to afford the $10,000 bond set. They have had communications with bondsmen and can't afford the 10% that's required. Mr. Brown is a U.S. citizen, Your Honor. He is married. He has 4 dependents. He has a high school diploma. He served the Navy for, he was in the Navy 10 years ago. And currently, prior to his incarceration, he was managing a Mexican restaurant. In speaking to the family can't afford $500, so we would ask the court to consider a $5,000 cash as surety bond on this matter for Mr. Brown.
What says the state?
Your Honor, Ray Garza for the state. The state would be opposed to any type of bond reduction. At this time, the defendant has 51 days in custody. This was a traffic stop for an expired plate, and there was a blood sample taken. 10,000 seems very reasonable. The defendant last picked up a DWI second in 2020. The state would be opposed to any type of bond reduction at this time, Judge.
Okay. Mr. Brown, raise your right hand, sir. You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Brown, what city do you live in, sir?
I reside in Palmview, Your Honor.
How long have you lived here in Hidalgo County?
It takes about 15 years on and off since the naval service, Your Honor.
15?
Yes, sir.
Okay. The magistrate who arraigned you back in May, it looks like, ordered that you install an ignition interlock device in your vehicle. What that means is when you're released on bond and he gave you, there's an order here and they'll give you a copy of it. You've got 15 days to get that device installed in your vehicle. Probation will contact you. They'll give you a list of places where you can go to get that installed. You'll have to take the order with you. And they'll put it in your vehicle, and anytime you want to use the vehicle, you'll have to blow in that device. If you do not own a vehicle, probation will have you sign an affidavit indicating that you do not own a vehicle or have access to a vehicle. If you're going to be driving a car, it needs to have that device.
Yes, sir.
If you do not have a vehicle and you're not going to be driving one, the magistrate indicated that you could get a portable device. The only thing I'm going to add on that portable device is that you blow on it 3 times a day between the hours of 6 and 8 a.m. in the morning, between the hours of 4 and 6 p.m. in the afternoon, and between the hours of 10 p.m. and 12 midnight every single day. You understand that?
I understand that.
The fail to blow on that device, or you do not install it or purchase it as required within the 15 days, probation will notify me. We'll have a hearing and see why you didn't get it or why we shouldn't put you back in jail. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Bond will be reduced to $5,000 cash surety. You have contact information for your client, Mr. Tijerina?
Yes, Judge, we've been in communication with his wife.
Okay. When you get out, make sure you stay in contact with your attorney. This is just to get you out on bond. You will have to show up at the courthouse at a later date to take care of this matter. You understand that?
Yes, Your Honor. Just really quick, I know that you've been part of the lenient to get going to read it down towards that. My mother-in-law is convicted with stage 4 breast cancer, which is the reason behind myself trying to be able to go and get him out of incarceration. The vehicle has been sold in order for this to be able to occur. Is there any possible chance that there might be a little bit more leniency in order to be able to go to do this property, Your Honor? Just for the sake of my own family, as opposed to my own.
The attorney indicated that they had $500, so that would be a $5,000 cash surety. Would be 10%, would be about $500 they would have to pay.
They say that it's fund, and it's more than adequate with myself.
Anything else, Mr. Tejedin, on that case?
No, Your Honor. Thank you very much, Judge.
Make sure you comply with the order, sir.
Yes, Your Honor.
I think you have another case. Do you not, Mr. Tejedin?
I do, Your Honor. C 320824J.
Luis Hernandez, are you present? Speak English, Mr. Hernandez?
Yes.
Sir. The client is present, is English speaking. You may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Judge, understanding the gravity of this particular case, my client is charged with an aggravated sexual assault, Your Honor, of a child. The bond is currently set at $100,000. Mr. Hernandez is a U.S. citizen, Your Honor. He does have a dependent that he cares for. Prior to his arrest, he is a cook at Denny's and he does possess a high school diploma. It's my understanding that he has lived here in the area for quite some time, Judge. In speaking to the family and understanding the gravity of the case, we would be asking the court for consideration of a $20,000 cash or surety bond.
What says the state?
Your Honor, the state would be opposed to any type of bond reduction at this time. In reading the facts, the victim is the daughter of the defendant. He took pictures of her private parts. She was 9 years old at the time. He also massaged her with a device in her private parts. The defendant has 33 days in custody. Bond is set to $100,000. We would be opposed to any type of bond reduction, Judge.
Right hand, Mr. Hernandez. Swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God? Speak up, sir.
Yes, Your Honor.
Where do you live, sir? What's your address?
3106 Melanie Street, Michigan, Texas.
Okay.
3574.
The magistrate who arraigned you ordered a protective order, and that protective order is for 90 days. What that means is during that time, it expires September 11th. I'm going to go ahead and ask that you have no contact with the victim until this case, victim or victim's family, until this case is resolved. The protected person, Kenzie, and I believe the child, you're not to go within 200 yards of the address located in Penitas, Texas. You're not to have any contact, communication with these two individuals or their family, which means no text messages, no phone calls, no social media in any way. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
You violate those terms, sir, you will be possibly facing new charges and end up back revoking your bond and back in jail. Is the house or the address you gave me close to that address that's on the protective order?
Oh, Your Honor.
And you can't go within 200 yards of that address. You were given notice of the protective order. When you are released, if you are released, you will be given a copy. I'm telling you now, you'll have a copy. Don't violate that order. Do you understand me?
Yes, Your Honor.
Any priors on this individual? I didn't see any.
I didn't see any prior search, no.
You have a job, sir?
Yes, sir.
Where do you work?
I work at Denny's as a cook.
You still have a job?
From what I know, my manager told me that I said, whenever I get out, I will have my job back.
All right. Order no contact with the victims or the victim's family.
Are you on as well?
Bond will be reduced to
It's a Writ right now, but
Savannah, you want to mute your
I'm so sorry, Judge. I apologize.
bond will be reduced to $20,000 cash surety. Any other conditions state requesting?
Nothing from the state, Judge, no.
Anything else, Mr. Tejeda?
No, Your Honor. Thank you very much for your consideration, Your Honor, on the cases.
All right, have a good afternoon. Thank you.
You too,
Pleasure
Judge.
to
Thank
see
you,
you.
sir.
Next case we're gonna call is C 3200-24-C, State of Texas versus Justino Guerrero. Please stand up, Mr. Guerrero. You speak English, correct, sir?
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, Judge. Jorge Ortegon for Mr. Guerrero. Your Honor, briefly, Judge Mike, sorry, Judge, do you want to call the case?
Well, what I was gonna say is, in looking at your application, the tampering case, we granted a PR bond back on June 13th. The theft case, the complaint has been filed in CR 24-05669-A. So the only thing before the court would be the two possession charges, which I previously reduced back in June to $1,000 cash surety.
Well, I am well aware of that, Judge, and we do appreciate that. Obviously, we know that these are ripe for, to be heard again, being that Mr. Guerrero is completely indigent, Judge. He has no money. He's been incarcerated now for, long enough to the point where we've been able to file a writ again. We would respectfully request, if any consideration, obviously we know that he's having a hard time making payments on, making his bond on the theft, which is still at $2,500. Judge, we would respectfully request PR bonds on the two POCSs. As this honorable court knows, he is a U.S. citizen, Judge. These are nonviolent offenses, Your Honor. And, obviously he's extremely indigent and has been in custody even with bonds this low, Judge. So we would respectfully request that these be set at, $1,000 PR bonds.
What says the state?
Your Honor, the state would be opposed to any type of bond reduction. The bond is already extremely reasonable at $1,000 each. The defendant was out on bond on previous drug charges, and then he picked up the theft and the two drug charges, the 0.36 grams of cocaine and 0.95 grams of methamphetamine. The state would be opposed to any type of bond reduction, Judge.
And obviously, Judge, if I may interject briefly, this honorable court knows that Mr. Guerrero is innocent unless proven guilty, Judge. And, I do want the court to seriously consider the fact that he is unable to make these bonds. And as this court knows, that bonds are not set to punish a defendant, but to make sure to make sure that they're going to appear in court, Your Honor. And there's been no evidence, obviously, to show that this Mr. Guerrero would not appear in court.
Well, he's got a CR 1790-24H POCS charge set for next month. Do you represent him on that one?
I probably do, Judge. I know I represent him on his other charges before these offenses, Your Honor. So I want to say yes, that I do.
Sir, raise your right hand. You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
Where do you live, sir?
1402 Ignite Street, Benito, Texas.
1402, what's the name of the street?
Ignite,
One more time.
I-G-N-I-T.
A house or apartment?
House.
In what city was this? Benitas?
Benitas.
We're gonna order monthly UAs. If you do get out on bond saying, sir, probation will contact you to get drug tested. If you don't show up, you come back to jail. You understand me? Monthly UAs, bond will be reduced to $1,000 PR on the 2 counts of possession charge. Anything else on that case, Mr.?
Not on this one, Your Honor. I do have one more whenever this honorable court is ready to call it, Judge.
Yes. The next case we'll call is, go ahead and have a seat, sir. C 3207-24-C, State of Texas versus Peter Morales. Speak English, Mr. Morales?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Morales is present. Mr. Ortegon, this is your client. You may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Again, Jorge Ortegon for Mr. Morales, Judge. I did make contact with Mr. Morales, Your Honor. This is a case that I'm obviously an affidavit of non-prosecution cannot be filed yet, but we are anticipating that an affidavit of non-prosecution is going to be filed, Judge. There are some issues with this case that we are trying to get situated, Your Honor. We do feel strongly in Mr. Morales' defense, Judge. Nonetheless, he is a U.S. citizen, and we do feel like a $25,000 bond for this case, which would otherwise be a misdemeanor, Your Honor, is extremely excessive at this point, Judge. Mr. Morales is indigent. As this honorable court knows, I am court appointed, Your Honor. We do know that this honorable court cannot grant a PR bond on these cases, Judge, because they're assaultive offenses, Your Honor. We are trying to staff it. However, it is a new case, so it's been pretty difficult to get staffed. You know, as this honorable court knows, it takes a while for the reports to come in, Judge, but we are respectfully requesting a $1,000 cash surety bond so Mr. Morales can get out and come to my office, speak to me, and we can come to a quick resolution on this case, Judge. Again, this is a continuous, Judge, so it would otherwise be a misdemeanor, Your Honor, but it was filed as a felony because of the allegation of more than one offense in the last 12 months, Judge.
Okay. What says the state?
Your Honor, the state would be opposed to any type of bond reduction. The victim here is the mom of the defendant. They got into a dispute. He closed the door on her repeatedly, and the officer saw light bruising on the victim's upper chest and left shoulder. The defendant has 16 days in custody at this time, and the case is ready for presentment to the grand jury. That's the note we have on there. Currently, the bond is set to $25,000. The state would be opposed to any type of bond reduction at this time, Judge.
Raise your right hand, sir. You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
State your name.
Peter Marcus Morales.
How old are you, sir?
I'm 42 years old.
Where do you live, sir? What's your address?
At the time, I was living at 3911 West Rogers Road. My mother wasn't staying there. She had already been out of the house for about 2 months.
Is that her home?
That is our home.
Put your hand down.
Yes, that's our home.
Okay, there's hang on just a minute.
I'm going to advise Mr. Morales just to answer the questions. Don't give any other information. Just answer the questions, Mr. Morales.
I'm not asking for an explanation, sir. I'm just asking a specific question. The magistrate who arraigned you, the judge who set your bond originally, requested that you have no contact with the victim and that you not go within 1,000 yards of the address at 3911 West Rogers Road. So at this point, if you're released, you cannot go back to that address. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you have someplace else to go?
Yes, I do.
Where would that be?
That would be 218 West 11th in Edinburgh, Texas.
And who lives there?
And it would be a relative. Yes.
You have a phone number, sir?
I do have a phone number, 956-378-2825.
Released on bond, sir, you need to stay in contact with your attorney. This is just to get you out of jail. Does not resolve the case. You will have to show up at the courthouse at a later date to take care of this. You understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
We'll order monthly UAs also. Immigration will contact you to get drug tested, sir. You show up when they tell you to show up. No drugs, no alcohol. You understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Violate that order, you come back to jail. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
You have a job, sir?
I was a provider for my stepfather, and he was a veteran. And he was admitted to a nursing home. He had a tracheostomy, and
You have a job, sir? That's my question.
yes, I guess I'm a provider.
Bond will be reduced to $2,000 cash surety.
Thank you, Your Honor.
No
That's all I
contact with the
have.
victim, monthly UAs.
That's all I have
Okay,
with
that's
this
it.
honorable court at this time, Judge.
Thank you, Mr. Ortegon.
May I be excused, Your Honor?
Yes, sir. Have a seat. Next case we're going to call is C 3214-24-F, State of Texas versus Maria Gutierrez. You speak English, Maria? Yes or no? Yes. Lily?
Yes, sir.
Gutierrez,
Good
this is your
afternoon, Your
voice.
Honor.
Good afternoon. You may proceed.
Your Honor, Ms. Maria Elizabeth Gutierrez has been charged with 2 possession of controlled substance charges. One, she has a $50,000 bond, and the second one is at $30,000. We think that this is excessive. I will advise the court that Ms. Gutierrez is not a United States citizen. However, I'm not certain if she has an immigration hold. She does have a misdemeanor pending from 2011, and we'll address any bond issues in that case. So we're only going forward on these 2 possession charges, and we're asking for something much more reasonable, Your Honor, something like $2,500 to $5,000 cash surety on each.
What says the state? And I didn't see a nice hold on her either, so.
Judge, we don't see a nice hold either. The defendant has 2 drug charges. They found drugs. She was the passenger in the car. They found him in her hip pack. It was cocaine and methamphetamine. The defendant has 17 days in custody. The state would be in agreement to cut the bonds in half. They're set at $50,000 for the 2nd-degree felony and $30,000 for the 3rd-degree felony, Judge.
Raise your right hand. Let's go to this. You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? What city do you live in, man? You need to speak louder. How long have you lived there? I can't hear anything you say. If you want me to guess, we'll sit down and we'll play the guessing game later. Or you want to tell me the answer?
7 years.
Can't hear anything you're saying.
7 years.
7 years? Are you married?
No,
You have children?
that's all.
Where are they with now?
That,
How old are they?
8 and 5.
They live with you or they
No,
live with your husband and father? Do you rent or own in Mission?
thanks.
You have contact information for her, Lily?
Your Honor, I have contact with her sister. So her family members, other than her sister, have been calling, but I am only speaking with her sister. So yes, I do.
Do you have a phone number, ma'am?
Yeah,
What is it?
897,
897?
Yeah.
That's the area code?
956,
Okay, 897,
44, 91.
71?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes,
want to order monthly testing. Probation's gonna contact you to go in and get drug tested. You need to show up. You come back just positive for drugs or alcohol, you're gonna end up back in jail. Is that clear?
yes.
Bond will be reduced to $1,000 cash surety on each count. Anything else, Ms. Gutierrez?
Nothing else, Your Honor. May I be excused?
Yes, thank you. Have a seat. Good luck to you, ma'am. Next case we're gonna call is C 3223-24-8, State of Texas versus Viviana Lara. You speak English, Ms. Lara?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Lara is present. Robert Puente?
Your Honor, I believe this case was already filed. It has a case number.
That's correct. I was gonna mention that. I saw it earlier today. It's actually, he filed it on the verification. Looks like the case was filed on the 7th. See, Robert's logged on. Robert, are you there? Ma'am, your case, the indictment has already been filed in CR 3349-24-A. So your attorney will need to go back to that court with that judge regards to any bond reduction request that he may have. There is a setting of July 22nd, so I believe that's next week. You will go to court on that case. You understand? All right, you may have a seat. The females may be excused. Next case, we're going to call C 3210-24-8, State of Texas versus Brian Palmer. Palmer?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Palmer is present. Savannah, this is your motion. You may proceed.
Good afternoon, Judge Savannah Gonzalez, court appointing counsel for Mr. Palmer. Judge, in this case, Mr. Palmer is actually a resident of Bexar County. He resides in the San Antonio area. He learned of this arrest warrant via an investigator and voluntarily availed himself to the warrant and presented himself in Hidalgo County. Currently, the bond is set for one count of continuous sexual abuse of a child at $50,000. We're asking the court, obviously, we'd like a lot less, but in light of the charge, to consider reducing this by half to $25,000. He is a U.S. citizen, Judge. My understanding, based on these allegations, is that this is the daughter of a longtime ex-girlfriend. He's had no contact whatsoever with the complaining witness in this case or with her family in quite some time. He's not opposed to any additional conditions that the court may imposed to ensure his compliance here within Hidalgo County. But as I advised, Judge, he is a resident of San Antonio. He's asking to be able to travel back there. If the court would like to impose an ankle monitor or anything to that effect, obviously we understand the state's position as to the travel. However, there's nothing to indicate at this point that he would be a flight risk and that he would not comply with future court orders within Hidalgo County.
What says the state?
Your Honor, the state would be opposed to any type of bond reduction. The facts are pretty egregious. The defendant was buying explicit materials from the victim, and the victim was under the age of 14. On the probable cause statement, there are receipts of those purchases, not the receipts themselves, but the officers mentioned that they see 8 different receipts. The bond is currently set at $50,000 cash surety. The defendant has 20 days in custody. He also has a separate charge from 2002, an aggravated sexual assault of a child. At this time, the state would be opposed to any type of bond reduction, Judge.
If I may clarify, I believe that 2002 charge is a juvenile charge, and then he was subsequently ordered certain conditions as an adult, but I don't believe the offending charge was a adult felony, Judge. Mr. Garza, if you can.
I can check on that. Juvenile.
Was it out of Hidalgo County or Bexar County?
I can check on that, Judge. I see Seguin. Seguin PD was the arresting, the police department, Guadalupe County Court of Law, number 2, to Guadalupe County.
All right. Sir, raise your right hand. You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? State your name.
Brian Palmer,
How old are you, sir?
35,
For a job? You can put your hand down. Where do you work?
truck driver.
You live in Bexar County?
Yes,
Do you have a house or rent up there?
rent.
Do you have family here in Hidalgo County?
No, sir.
Do you have family in Bexar County?
Yes, sir.
Your parents or who lives there?
My cousin and my girlfriend,
Parents?
my mom and father are both deceased.
Siblings? You don't have any siblings in Bexar County?
My sister, yes.
Okay. You have a phone number, sir?
For me, 830-491-8019.
80. Your phone number changes, sir, your address changes. You need to you need to notify your attorney. A letter when this court or when this case is ready will be sent to the address that you provided to them. If you change your address or your phone number and they can't get a hold of you, a warrant will be issued for your arrest. You understand that? So you need to stay in contact with your attorney on a weekly basis. You work for a company, you're self-employed?
Work for a company, sir.
How long have you been truck driving?
7.5 years.
In order to no contact with the victim or the victim's family, communication with them, sir. Don't be sending a message. Don't tell a friend to send them a message. Do you understand that?
Not a problem. I haven't had contact.
Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram, nothing. You understand that? In order random monthly UAs through probation, you have to come down here at least once a month to get drug tested through probation. So you come back positive for drugs or alcohol, you're gonna end up back in jail. Do you understand me? Bond will be reduced to $25,000 cash surety.
Thank you, Judge.
Anything else, Ms. Gonzalez?
Not on behalf of Mr. Palmer, Judge. Thank you for your time.
All right, good luck. Good luck to you, sir. Have a seat. We're gonna call C 3142-24-F, State of Texas versus Alejandro Ramirez.
Good afternoon, Judge.
Okay, I just ask that you go slow. Mr. Ramirez doesn't speak English. Coordinator here will do the translating for us.
Yes, Your Honor.
Hector, he does have an ice hold. I'm not sure if you're aware of that.
I was just recently made aware of that, Your Honor, correct. Also, he had another. Go ahead.
I was gonna say you may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. He also had a misdemeanor out of the same transaction that has now, it has a case number now.
Okay.
So, Your Honor, we filed for a probable cause hearing. We are waiving that. I was given a copy of the complaint and reviewed it, and there's no need for that.
Okay.
Therefore, respectfully, we're proceeding to a request for a bond reduction. Your Honor, although he does have an ice hold, his bond, we believe, is excessive. It's a $30,000 cash surety. He nor his family have the ability or means to make any bond close to that. We understand that should he make bond, he may or may not be deported, but frankly speaking, I don't see that being an issue, Your Honor. It's not going to happen. That being said, Your Honor, respectfully, he was, trying his best to work and provide for his family here. His children are U.S. citizens. He has one child in particular, Alondra, who was hit by a car as a child. And she requires a lot of assistance, which is what he helps with. So that being said, Your Honor, even then, we don't think he'll be able to get out to assist. But because the bond is so high, Your Honor, respectfully, we're asking for a $5,000 cash or surety bond with any conditions the court should see fit in the event he actually gets out.
What says the state?
Your Honor, the state would be opposed to any type of bond reduction. There is an ice hold. In this case, the victim is the dad of the defendant. The defendant was picked up by his son from a party. He was intoxicated. He pushed the victim, which is his father, and he caused him to fall and hit his head on a chair. He also chased his son around with a knife and threatened to stab him, allegedly. The bond is set to $30,000. Currently, there are multiple priors. The defendant has multiple DWIs. The last one is in 2008. It's a DWI third, and the defendant did do 2 years TDCJ for that. At this time, the state would be opposed to any type of bond reduction, Judge.
Okay. Raise your right hand, Mr. Ramirez. You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Yes. Put your hand down. How old are you, Mr. Ramirez? 56. Do you work, sir?
Sí.
What do you do?
Yes.
Like mobile homes repair,
Construction work?
remodeling.
Construction?
Sí.
What city do you live in?
Mission.
How long have you lived in Mission, Texas?
5-6 months since January.
Where did you live before that?
Mexico.
Sir, there is an ICE hold on your case, an immigration hold on your case. Do you understand that? There's a good possibility that if you do make bond, you may get deported. Do you understand that? This case will not go away. The case will stay pending. You understand that? And if you do not show up to court when you're supposed to, warrant will be issued for your arrest. Do you understand that?
Sí.
Do you understand that?
Sí.
What city do you live in?
Vivo en Mission.
How long have you lived in Mission, Texas?
5-6 months since January.
5-6 months since January. Where did you live before that? magistrate who set your bond ordered also a protective order for not to have any contact with Fermin Ramirez, whom I understand is your father. Is that correct? You're not to have any contact with him for 91 days. Do you know your address, sir?
No sé que es Amber Street, pero el número no lo sé, pero.
He knows it's Amber Street, but he doesn't know the number of the house.
The protective order says that you cannot go back to 4708 Amber Street in Mission, Texas. And this order will expire September 27th of this year, 2024. Do you understand that? So if you do get out on bond and you aren't deported, you cannot go back to that address. Do you understand? You have somewhere else to go stay?
Mexico.
Okay. Order no contact with the victim. Bond will be reduced to $5,000 cash surety. Anything else, Hector?
No, Your Honor, thank you for your time and consideration. We appreciate you.
All right, have a good afternoon. Thank you.
Likewise, Judge.
We're gonna call C 3195-24-J, State of Texas versus Jorge Sanchez. Speak English, Mr. Sanchez? David Lindenmuth,
Good afternoon, Judge. I'm here.
good afternoon. You may proceed.
Your Honor, you heard a writ on this client not that long ago. He was before Your Honor for several other cases. At the time, he had a detainer on a couple of cases out of Edinburgh. Those have now, I guess, come before Your Honor via this writ. And he now has 2 additional cash surety bonds set at $15,000 each. The last time we had a hearing, Your Honor, I hope you'll recall that this particular client is battling lung cancer. It is documented.
David, you muted yourself, David. David, you're on mute. David, can y'all hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, Judge. I think it's, okay.
I'm sorry, am I fading out?
Your thing went on mute, so we heard, the last thing I heard was you say he had lung cancer.
I'm sorry, Judge. I had to get off of my office Wi-Fi and then get onto my cell phone, so my apologies. So, Judge, so my concern with the relevance of the lung cancer is that he's not getting optimal treatment in the facility he's in. We are concerned about his health deteriorating further while in custody. I do know that he's facing several cases, Judge, but thankfully they are solely misdemeanors. They're not violent crimes. I believe that he is not a danger to the community and that he will come and face these charges at the appropriate time on dates. So we're asking for a reduction, Your Honor, from the $15,000. I believe the prior bond that you reduced were from $10,000 to $1,000. Your Honor, I would ask Your Honor if you would consider doing the same on these two, from a $15,000 cash surety on each to a $1,000 cash surety on each, so he can get outside and take care of his health and face these from the outside.
What says the state?
Your Honor, the state would be opposed to any type of bond reduction. The defendant has 2 thefts, one on May 5th, one on May 6th, both from Academy, both over $1,000. He was previously out on bond for another theft when he picked up these charges. It was a felony theft where he stole a vehicle. At this time, the state would be opposed to any type of bond reduction. The defendant has 44 days in custody, and he has previously gone up before in 2019 on a theft and a smuggling, or on a unlawful possession and a possession. It was 4 years TDCJ, Judge.
Mr. Sanchez, if you do make bond, I'm gonna ask that you not go back to the academy we're charged with in this case here in Edinburgh, nor the other locations where you were previously arrested. Do you understand me?
Yes, sir.
I'm asking you, as you understand, don't go back there. Bond will be reduced on these two charges to $1,000 cash surety. Also gonna order monthly UAs. Come back positive, just sir, for drugs or alcohol, you're gonna end up back in jail. Is that clear? Yes, sir. Have a seat.
Thank you, Judge. We appreciate your consideration, your time.
Yes, sir. Thank you, David.
Judge, that's all I have. Maybe it's used.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Robert. We called your case earlier, Robert.
She's been indicted, Your Honor.
Yeah, she's been indicted. I think she's got a hearing set, or an arraignment set for next Monday, so I don't have any jurisdiction over that case anymore.
Yeah, I just learned about it this morning, Your Honor, before the hearing. I just wanted to make that announcement. I'll file the non-suit if the court requires me to do so.
Okay, no problem. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Have a good afternoon.
You too, Your Honor.
Well, Garcia, you there, Roy? There you are.
I'm present, Your Honor.
C 3236-24-L, State of Texas versus Jose Villarreal. Speak English, Mr. Villarreal?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Villarreal is present. Roel, this is your motion. You may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Villarreal is being charged with theft of property, a state jail felony. It's because he has 2 or more previous convictions. He's 68 years old. He's single. He's a U.S. citizen. He's been in custody since on or about June 24th of this year. And Your Honor, he has not been able to make a bond. It's excessive. So we're asking for something, perhaps a PR bond or a low cash or surety bond.
What says the state?
Your Honor, the state would be in agreement to reduce the bond to $2,500 cash surety. This was a theft from a Walmart. It was $97 on June 20th, 2024. The defendant has 25 days in custody. Judge would be in agreement for a $2,500 cash surety bond, Judge.
So raise your right hand. You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Villarreal, how old are you, sir? We're old to be sitting in jail.
Yeah, they made me have a thing here.
Okay. Sir, if you do get out on bond, do not go back to that Walmart, you understand? What city do you live in? Do you have a home or you?
Well, I'm trying to get an apartment right now, you know, my sister, she lives by herself, you know, I use her address, you know, but I just go by it once in a while, but I was staying in the street. You know, I was having a little problem because I was only getting $500 a month. And been able to raise it, I have to raise it to $900 because I don't have a place to rent. You know, but I was looking for that.
Okay. Do you know your sister's address?
Yes, sir.
What is it? That's the address you gave when they arrested you. If you get out on bond, I don't know if you're staying there or not. You said you weren't, but when you have to go to court, they're gonna send a letter to that address. So you need to be checking your mail because if you don't show up, they're gonna issue a warrant for your arrest. Do you understand that?
And Your Honor, I'm afraid that the 2,500, while it is gracious from the state, I think we're gonna need a little bit lower, maybe down to 1,000. It's currently at 5,000, and he hasn't had much luck with that. So.
And I go back to that location, sir. Is that clear? I'm gonna reduce your bond to $2,500 PR, which means with your signature, you'll get out with a promise to appear. You get out, do you have a phone, sir?
My pay phone number is 332-0480. And my sister's is.
Is that 956?
Yes, sir.
That's your phone?
So my page, she's the one that helped me out, just to charge him a little bit of money.
What's your name?
Rosie. Rosie Cuellar,
What's your sister's name?
Maria Garcia. And her phone number is, 956-510-3534.
Maria Garcia?
Yes.
Well, that's good that you remember all those numbers. Everybody doesn't remember phone numbers these days. Stay in contact with your attorney, sir. You will get out on bond tonight or in the morning. Stay in contact with your attorney. Understand that? You will have to show up at the courthouse sometime down the road to take care of these cases. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Bond will be reduced to $2,500 PR. Anything else, Mr. Garcia?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
All right. Good luck to you, gentlemen. Mr. Gatsa, thank you for your time, sir.
Thank you, Judge. Have a great day.
You too.
May I be excused, Your Honor?